Spider Man Trilogy, 7 best characters, ranked by likability. Before we start, I would like you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Film Sci. Number 7, Dr. Otto Octavius. Dr. Octopus has had a truly remarkable comic book history, one that was only touched upon by Alfred Molina's portrayal of the character in Spider Man 2. Next to the Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus is one of Spider-Man's most recognizable and most fearsome rogues, and one that often gives the hero a run for his money. This version of the character is more sympathetic than his print version, portrayed as a tragic hero whose own hubris becomes his downfall. Like the tragic heroes of old, the audience doesn't want to see Octavius fall but knows that he must in order for the story to be complete. Molina's prominent theatrical background lends itself nicely to this aspect of the beloved character. Number 6. J. Jonah Jameson. J. Jonah Jameson has had a wonderful comic book run, one that is perfectly characterized by J.K. Simmons' flabbergastingly perfect portrayal of the character in all 3 of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films. The publisher of the Daily Bugle is pushy and high-strung, always on the hunt for photos that will convict Spider-Man of being the menace he believes him to be. Aided by a performance from Simmons that was so good that Marvel opted to bring him back to the role for the MCU rather than recast, Jameson is also puzzlingly likable despite his boisterous and often rude personality. Though he exhibits an aloofness to other characters' well-being, he proves himself to be quite brave and caring when it counts, even refusing to give up Peter's identity to the Green Goblin, a decision which very well could have cost him his life. Number 5. Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy has a small role in this franchise, appearing only in the final installment of the series. Bryce Dallas Howard portrays the character, who is briefly presented as a potential rival against MJ for Peter's affections after his judgment is clouded by the Venom symbiote. Despite the fact that Peter uses Gwen as a tool to get under MJ's skin, she managed to redeem herself by proving not only to be unaware of Peter's schemes, but also disgusted by them, apologizing to MJ before storming out of the restaurant. Had the franchise continued past the 3rd installment, fans would certainly have liked to see more of Howard's portrayal of Gwen Stacy. Number 4. Mary Jane Watson. Mary Jane Watson is the main love interest of Peter Parker both in the comics and in this franchise. Played by Kirsten Dunst, this version of MJ often struggles with her feelings for Peter, cycling through several different love interests before finally settling down with the boy next door. Audiences can certainly understand why MJ is the girl Peter daydreams about. She is kind, resourceful, and beautiful. She manages to support both Peter Parker and Spider-Man in their endeavors, even though it often comes at her own expense. Her relationship with Peter has its rough patches, but there is something inherently amiable about Dunst's iteration of the classic character. Number 3. May Parker. May Parker is Peter's doting aunt who became his surrogate mother at some point before the events of the first film. She and her husband Ben raised Peter themselves, giving him all the care and love that one would expect from a child's parents. In this franchise, the role of Aunt May is played by Rosemary Harris. Harris often has a minimal amount of screen time in each film, yet still manages to be one of the most memorable parts of the trilogy. She often acts as Peter's moral compass, telling him what he needs to hear in his lowest moments, often encouraging him to be the hero he was meant to be. Everything about this version of Aunt May is spot on, and her conversation with Peter halfway through Spider-Man 2 remains one of the best scenes in any Spider-Man film yet. Number 2. Peter Parker. Peter Parker is the main hero of the Spider-Man franchise, played in this version by Tobey Maguire. Maguire's Spider-Man has seen his fair share of iconic moments over the course of his 3 films, and die-hard Spidey fans hope to see a few more should his character appear in No Way Home. This version of Peter is hard not to love. From his nerdy alter ego of Peter Parker to his selfless Spider-Man, the character is everything that comic book fans hoped he would be when the character was first announced to be adapted for live action. Though his heel turn in Spider-Man 3 hurts his reputation, he manages to remain one of the most personable cast members of Raimi's franchise. Number 1. Ben Parker. Ben Parker is Peter's beloved uncle, and the man who uttered the unforgettable catchphrase, "With great power comes great responsibility." His death at the hands of a burglar whom Peter could have stopped motivates his nephew to become the hero that he was always meant to be. Played in this version by the late Cliff Robertson, Uncle Ben has an irresistible charm about him that makes it impossible for the audience not to love Peter's surrogate father. Though he only appears in a few minutes throughout the entire trilogy, his death hits the viewer just as hard as it does Peter, truly making him the most lovable character in the franchise. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.